Yusuf, thank you so much for joining us as always. Good to talk to you now. We know many arrests have been made during the lockdown, and the question has got to be, what recourse did those who've been wrongfully arrested have? And some have seen even turn to the courts to stop police harassment.
Good afternoon, Tony. Yes, we've had about 101,000 arrests since the lockdown began, and that's quite a significant number. Some of the offences are very, very minor. But let's not forget that during this lockdown, we have special disaster management laws, but the police cannot be a law unto themselves. From the feedback we're getting from the ground, a lot of people claim that they are being wrongfully arrested by police for various offences. Some people for not wearing their masks, others for example, having a packet of 20 cigarettes. Half of them have been used in their cars. Somebody spent 2 nights in a cell for having a packet of cigarettes in a car. And so the list continues. So if you believe that you've been wrongfully arrested, remember to not pay admission of guilt fine, go to court and defend yourself. What you also need to do is to get the services of a lawyer, and they will then issue a civil summons against the Minister of Police. In fact, I'm told by people inside the police service that a lot of people are already planning to sue the police for damages running into millions of rands. And especially if you spend some time behind bars and if you are wrongfully arrested, there's a good chance that the court will make a ruling that will be paid damages. So I think this lockdown will see millions of rands being paid by the police minister for people that have been wrongfully arrested. And even the police powers are limited, but many of these cops are law unto themselves, Tony. We had a situation where a store owner in Soweto, a Pick n Pay store owner, went to the Johannesburg High Court, and the court granted an order. These police officers came to his store for a few days, demanding that he closes the store at 5 o'clock, although the regulation says we can open until 7 o'clock. In Polokwane, a week ago, we had some business people going there, and the judge ordered that they stop harassing, intimidating, and asking these shopkeepers for a special permit. So the police cannot be a law unto themselves, and let's remind them that that's a critical part of our constitution. Okay,
very true there, Yusuf, and pretty worrying, as you say. Now, the infection rate in correctional facilities remains of concern, obviously. What are the latest figures now?
Well, very worrying, Tony. We just got the latest figures from the Department of Correctional Services. Officials, although there have been 123 recoveries, the Eastern Cape and the Western Cape remain the hotspots. In fact, in the Eastern Cape, we have 460 cases. 399 of them are inmates. In the Western Cape, we have 170 cases. Some of the other provinces have smaller numbers. In fact, on that note, a number of police officials also, we know, have been tested positive. A number of police stations, especially in the Western Cape, even in Gauteng and the Eastern Cape, have been closed for deep cleansing, and that process is going to continue. So it seems to me that our law enforcement officials also under heavy pressure, but the situation in our prisons, despite the release, pending release of 19,000 inmates, is something that we need to be very concerned about as well.
Okay, something also concerning is that the fact that criminals are now increasingly targeting liquor stores, and I assume it's got to be because of the ban on alcohol.
It's very dry out there for those people that love their alcohol. As we know with the lockdown, Tony, people cannot get their liquor, they cannot get their cigarettes. So we've seen a number of stores being looted, but we also see increase in burglaries and robberies at some of these stores. We know that a number of supermarkets and stores have been broken into for the cigarettes being stolen, but now we're seeing, especially in parts of the Western Cape and KwaZulu-Natal and even in Gauteng, a number of liquor stores being targeted. In fact, the footage we have is of a liquor store in Buria Centre in Durban, where in the early hours of the morning, a group of men, armed men, held up a security guard, broke the glass, went in and stole thousands of rands of liquor. So it seems to me that the ban on the liquor and the cigarettes is leading these criminals to break into these stores, but also they're seeing it as quick cash, a quick buck for them, and it's a real worry for especially the owners of these stores, Tony.
Yusuf, thank you so much. I don't know whether I should say thank you because some of the stories you're talking about there are pretty worrying and concerning. But Yusuf Abramjee, thank you so much, as always.